Hello everyone. I'm glad you visited my channel. Welcome to Golden Wellness Hub. How are you feeling today? Really, how are you? Wishing you every success in your endeavors. Let me ask you something. Do you ever find yourself thinking about the future? Not just about living longer, but about living better? You know, having the energy to keep up with the grandkids, the clarity to pursue that hobby you've always dreamed of, or simply feeling strong and vibrant well into your golden years. It's something most of us hope for, right? Now, you might hear a lot about genetics determining how long you live. And sure, genes play a part, but maybe not as big a part as you think. Get this. Scientists estimate that only about 25% of your lifespan is dictated by your DNA. That leaves a whopping 75% influenced by us, by our lifestyle, our habits, and significantly, by what we put on our plates every single day. That's actually incredibly empowering news, isn't it? It means we have more control than we might realize. But let's be real. Navigating the world of health advice can feel like trying to find your way through a maze blindfolded. 1 minute it's low carb, the next it's low fat, then someone's telling you to only eat grapefruits after midnight. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the idea. It's confusing and honestly a little exhausting. So what if we could cut through the noise? What if we could look at communities around the globe where people consistently live the longest, healthiest lives? Places where hitting 100 isn't just possible, it's relatively common. These places actually exist. Researchers call them the blue zones. There are 5 recognized blue zones scattered across the globe, each with unique cultures, but sharing some fascinating common threads, especially when it comes to food. And guess what? One of these incredible longevity hotspots is right here in our own backyard, in Loma Linda, California. That's what this journey together is all about. Over the next 40 minutes or so, we're ditching the fads and diving deep. We're going to explore the science-backed foods and eating patterns consistently linked to adding healthy, vibrant years to your life. We'll unpack why they work, learn directly from the wisdom of these blue zones, including our American neighbors in Loma Linda, uncover some common mistakes you might be making without even realizing it, and most importantly, I'll give you practical, actionable steps you can start implementing today. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for the whole thing, because it's not just about what to eat, but understanding the simple, powerful reasons behind it. We'll uncover some surprising truths and maybe even bust a few myths along the way, giving you a clear roadmap to fuel your body for the long, healthy, and happy life you deserve. Forget the confusing quick fixes. Let's explore the real secrets to longevity, starting right now. So, how exactly does the food we eat wield this incredible power over our health span? It's not magic, I promise. It really boils down to a couple of key ideas that shift how we think about eating. First off, forget just counting calories. We need to talk about nutrient density. Think of it like getting the most bang for your buck, nutritionally speaking. Are you choosing foods packed with vitamins, minerals, and those amazing plant compounds? Or foods that are, mostly just filling space? And the second idea is just fascinating. Food synergy. This means the nutrients in whole foods often work as a team, boosting each other's effects in ways we can't replicate just by popping a few vitamin pills. It's like a well-coached basketball team. They achieve more together than any single star player could alone. A perfect example? The vitamin C in your bell peppers, helping your body absorb the iron from your spinach. Nature's pretty smart. Huh? Understanding that sets the stage for looking at how food interacts with the processes of aging inside our bodies. Let's break down a few key players, keeping it simple. First, there's oxidative stress. Sounds intense, right? Think of it like rust forming on metal, but happening inside your cells. Unstable molecules called free radicals bounce around, causing damage. It's a natural process, but too much contributes to aging and disease. The superheroes in this story? Antioxidants. Found abundantly in colorful fruits, vegetables, and other plant foods, they neutralize those pesky free radicals, acting like a protective shield for your cells. So, more color on your plate often means more protection. Next up is chronic inflammation. Now, short-term inflammation is good. It helps you heal a cut or fight off a cold. But the troublemaker is chronic, low-grade inflammation. Think of it as a slow, simmering fire inside your body that never quite goes out. It's linked to nearly every major age-related disease: heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, even some cancers. The good news? Certain foods can seriously fuel this fire. Think sugary drinks, processed snacks, while others act like firefighters. Things rich in omega-3s, healthy fats like olive oil, spices, they help calm things down. Then there's your gut health, specifically your microbiome. Okay, talking about gut bacteria might not be dinner table conversation, but stick with me. You have trillions, yes, trillions of bacteria living in your gut. This community profoundly impacts your digestion, your immune system. A huge chunk of it is in your gut. And even your mood. They call it the gut-brain axis for a reason. We want to feed the friendly bacteria, prebiotics like fiber, and sometimes add more good guys to the team, probiotics, found in fermented foods. A happy gut is fundamental to healthy aging. And finally, let's touch on blood sugar balance. Ever feel that energy crash after a sugary snack or a big meal heavy on refined carbs? That's your blood sugar going on a roller coaster. Constant spikes and crashes put stress on your body, contribute to inflammation, and can lead to insulin resistance, a precursor to type 2 diabetes. Eating foods rich in fiber and protein helps keep your blood sugar level stable, like smooth sailing instead of choppy waters, giving you sustained energy and protecting your long-term health. Now, tying this back to that genetics piece we mentioned earlier, there's a fascinating field called epigenetics. Think of your genes like light switches. While you might inherit certain switches, your lifestyle choices, especially your diet, can act like fingers, flicking some switches on and others off. It doesn't change your underlying DNA, but it influences how your genes behave. How cool is that? It's another layer showing how much power we have through our daily choices. Phew. Okay, that was our quick science dive. Understanding these background processes, the cellular rust, the silent fire, the gut garden, the energy roller coaster, really highlights why the food choices we make are so incredibly impactful. It sets the stage perfectly for us to explore the specific foods that act as our body's best allies in this longevity quest. But before we dive into those amazing foods, just a quick but important reminder. All the information I'm sharing is for educational purposes. It's meant to empower you with knowledge, but it's not a substitute for personalized medical advice. Always talk to your doctor, a registered dietitian, or a qualified healthcare professional before making any significant changes to your diet, especially if you have any underlying health conditions. One, they know your individual situation best. Okay, great. So, now that we've peeked under the hood a bit and understand the why, are you ready to discover the what? Let's start exploring those incredible life-enhancing foods. Alright, now that we've got the why sorted, let's stock our longevity toolkit with a what. These are the all-star food groups consistently found on the plates of the world's healthiest, longest-lived people. Think of these as your foundation stones for building a more vibrant future. First up, the undisputed champions of nutrient density, leafy greens. We're talking spinach, kale, collards, chard, arugula. Remember Popeye chugging that spinach? Okay, maybe it won't give you instant biceps, but he was onto something. These greens are overflowing with vitamins A, C, and K, crucial minerals, fiber for gut health, and powerful antioxidants like lutein, which is fantastic for eye health. They're a non-negotiable staple in pretty much every healthy eating pattern, especially in the blue zones where they often grow right in their gardens. A common slip-up? Thinking iceberg lettuce offers the same punch. Sadly, it's mostly water, so swap that out. Try sneaking spinach into your morning smoothie. You won't even taste it, I promise. Or saute some collard greens with garlic for a delicious side. Speaking of powerful plant compounds, let's talk about their cousins. Cruciferous vegetables. Think broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. These guys are famous for unique compounds like glucosinolates, which your body converts into rock stars like sulforaphane. Research suggests these compounds are great for supporting your body's natural detoxification pathways and may even have anti-cancer properties. They're common garden veggies in many blue zones too. The biggest mistake people make? Boiling them into mush. which destroys a lot of the good stuff. Try roasting broccoli or Brussels sprouts with a little olive oil until they're tender and slightly caramelized. Game changer. Now for something a little sweeter, bursting with color and flavor. Berries. Visual. Close-ups of blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. These little gems are antioxidant powerhouses. Their vibrant colors come from compounds called anthocyanins, which are incredible fighters against that oxidative stress we talked about. They're also packed with vitamin C and fiber, making them fantastic for brain health. In some blue zones, people forage for wild berries when they're in season. A smart swap? Reach for a handful of fresh or frozen berries instead of sugary jam on your toast. They're perfect topper for oatmeal or yogurt, or just great as a simple, refreshing snack. Alright, let's move on to sustained energy and keeping that gut garden happy. Whole grains. We're talking oats, quinoa, brown rice, barley, farro, 100% whole wheat bread. These are your complex carbohydrates, loaded with fiber, both the kind that keeps you regular and the kind that feeds those friendly gut bacteria we met earlier. They also provide essential B vitamins and minerals like magnesium. In places like Sardinia and Nicoya, whole grains like barley and corn have been energy staples for centuries. The key mistake here? Getting tricked by labels like multi-grain, which sounds healthy but might still be made mostly from refined flour. Always look for 100% whole grain on the package. An easy start? A warm bowl of oatmeal for breakfast, or swapping white rice for quinoa, or brown rice in your favorite bowl recipe. Now let's talk about a true cornerstone of longevity diets, especially in the blue zones. Legumes. That's your beans, lentils, chickpeas, peas, sometimes called the musical fruit. But don't let that scare you. These are nutritional powerhouses, packed with plant-based protein, complex carbs, and an incredible amount of fiber, plus iron and folate. Seriously, people in blue zones eat, on average, about a cup of beans a day. They are fundamental. A common misconception is fearing the carbs in beans, but remember, they come bundled with so much fiber and protein. They actually help stabilize your blood sugar. Tip: if using canned, rinse them well, or choose low-sodium options. If using dry, soak them overnight first. It helps with digestion and maybe the musical part. They're amazing in soups, stews, salads, blended into hummus, or even mashed into veggie burgers. Okay, moving on to healthy fats and that satisfying crunch. Nuts and seeds. Almonds, walnuts, chia, flax, pumpkin seeds, the list goes on. These little guys are packed with heart-healthy monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, including those plant-based omega-3s, ALA, found especially in walnuts, flax, and chia seeds. They also offer protein, fiber, vitamin E, and minerals. Nuts are a daily habit in several blue zones, particularly Loma Linda, where studies link them to significantly lower heart disease risk. The only catch? They are calorie-dense. A common mistake is eating them mindlessly out of a large bag. Stick to about a small handful, roughly a quarter cup per day. They make a great snack, a crunchy topping for salads or yogurt, and ground flax or chia seeds disappear easily into smoothies or oatmeal. Now, let's talk about another source of incredible healthy fats, especially important for your brain and heart. Fatty fish. Think salmon, mackerel, herring, sardines, anchovies. These fish are swimming in beneficial omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, which our bodies can use directly. These omega-3 are superstars for reducing inflammation. Remember that silent fire? Supporting brain structure and function and promoting heart health. They're a common feature in the coastal blue zones like Ikaria, Sardinia, and Okinawa. When possible, choosing wild-caught fish over farmed often gives you a better omega-3 profile and fewer potential contaminants. Aim for about 2 to 3 servings per week. Try grilling salmon, enjoying mackerel, or even embrace sardines on whole grain toast. Don't knock it till you try it. And we can't talk about healthy fats without mentioning liquid gold. Extra virgin olive oil, EVO, especially central to the Mediterranean blue zones like Ikaria and Sardinia. EVO is rich in heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, primarily oleic acid, But the real magic might be in its potent antioxidants called polyphenol, like oleocanthal, which has anti-inflammatory effects similar to ibuprofen. Big mistake? Buying cheap light or blended olive oil. These are often refined and lack those precious polyphenol. Another no-no is using your good EVO for high-heat cooking, which can damage those delicate compounds. Use your best EVO for drizzling over salads, dipping bread, or finishing dishes. And maybe use a regular olive oil or avocado oil for higher temp cooking. Finally, let's give some love to the gut health guardians. Fermented foods. Think plain yogurt or kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, tempeh. These foods harness the ancient power of fermentation, creating probiotics, those live beneficial bacteria that support your gut microbiome. Remember our gut garden? These guys are like adding more diverse, helpful plants. Many traditional Blue Zone diets naturally included fermented foods, like miso in Okinawa or traditional yogurt in Korea. When buying yogurt or kefir, look for live active cultures on a label and choose plain versions to avoid loads of added sugar. Enjoy plain yogurt with berries and nuts. Add sauerkraut or kimchi as a zesty side dish or sandwich topper. Or start your meal with a comforting bowl of miso soup. Wow, okay. So those are our 9 all-star groups. Leafy greens, cruciferous veggies, berries, whole grains, legumes, nuts and seeds, fatty fish, extra virgin olive oil, and fermented foods. Quite the delicious toolkit, right? Each one brings something powerful to the table. But here's where it gets really interesting. How do these foods come together in the daily lives of people living in those exceptional blue zones, including the one right here in the States? Let's zoom in and take a closer look. So, we got our all-star ingredients for a long and healthy life. But how do they actually come together on the ground, day after day? Let's take that metaphorical trip we talked about and zoom in on the only blue zone right here in the United States, Loma Linda, California. Nestled in sunny Southern California, Loma Linda is home to a large concentration of Seventh-day Adventists, a faith group known for having some of the longest lifespans in America, living, on average, about 7 to 10 years longer than the rest of us. That's pretty remarkable. So, what's their secret sauce? Well, researchers who've studied this community point to a fascinating blend of diet and lifestyle factors. Let's talk about their plate first. The Loma Linda dietary pattern is strongly plant-powered. While not everyone is strictly vegetarian or vegan, the diet leans heavily in that direction. They emphasize whole foods, plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and especially legumes. Remember our fiber and protein champions? And here's a key finding. Nuts are a big deal here. Studies specifically on this group linked regular nut consumption, about a handful 5 times a week, to significantly lower rates of heart disease and a longer life. Just as important as what they tend to eat less of. Meat consumption is generally low, as is intake of refined foods, sugary snacks, and drinks. And they prioritize good old water for hydration. It sounds simple, maybe even familiar, but the consistency and the combination seem to be key. But here's what makes the Blue Zone research so compelling. It's rarely just about the food. In Loma Linda, there are other powerful factors working in synergy. There's a strong sense of community and faith, providing social support and a shared sense of purpose, which we know are huge for well-being. They also tend to incorporate regular, moderate physical activity into their daily lives. Think walking, gardening, just staying active naturally. And unique to the Adventists is the observance of the Sabbath, a dedicated 24-hour period from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset for rest, reflection, and connection, providing a built-in buffer against chronic stress. So, what are the takeaways for those of us maybe living hundreds or thousands of miles away, not part of the specific faith community? We definitely don't need to move to Loma Linda or change our beliefs to learn from their example. The big lesson seemed to be, intentionally shift your plate towards more plants. You don't have to go fully vegetarian overnight, but maybe start with meatless Mondays or aim for a few plant-based meals each week. Make nuts a regular, deliberate snack, not just an occasional treat. Prioritize water as your main beverage. And importantly, recognize the power of community connection and consciously build downtime and rest into your week, whatever that looks like for you. It's this holistic approach, the synergy between diet and lifestyle, that seems to unlock such impressive longevity. It's truly inspiring to see these principles in action, showing us that simple, consistent choices can have such a profound impact. Now, while food is clearly foundational, and we see how lifestyle factors weave in, there are a couple of other simple, yet absolutely vital pieces to this longevity puzzle that often get overlooked in our busy lives. One is something we use every single second of the day, and the other involves wisdom from a doctor who lived these principles to an incredible age. Let's explore those next. So, we've explored these amazing foods and seen how lifestyle factors play a huge role in places like Loma Linda. Now let's touch on those simple, fundamental pieces that often get lost in the shuffle. And we'll start with something so basic, so essential, we literally can't live without it. Yet many of us kind of forget about it during the day. I'm talking about water. Seriously, good old H2O. It's involved in practically every function in our body. Keeping our cells happy, flushing out toxins, aiding digestion, regulating our temperature, keeping our energy levels up, even keeping our brain sharp. Dehydration, even mild dehydration, can leave you feeling sluggish, foggy, and headachy. Sound familiar? Maybe time for a sip. So how much do we actually need? Well, you probably heard different things, but a good general guideline is to aim for about half your body weight, in pounds, in ounces of water per day. So, if you weigh 160 pounds, that's about 80 ounces, which is 10 8-ounce glasses. But remember, that's just a starting point. You might need more if you're active or live in a hot climate. The best advice? Listen to your body. Check the color of your urine. Aim for pale yellow. And try not to wait until you feel really thirsty. That's often a sign you're already a bit dehydrated. If plain water feels a bit boring, jazz it up. Add slices of lemon, lime, cucumber, or mint. Herbal teas count too, especially things like green tea, which brings its own antioxidant benefits we love. What we really want to limit are those sugary sodas, excessive fruit juices. They pack a lot of sugar without the fiber. And maybe keep an eye on too much caffeine, which can be dehydrating for some. Making water your primary beverage is a simple yet powerful longevity habit. Speaking of simple yet profound wisdom, I want to share the story of an incredible man, Dr. Shigeki Hinohara. He was a Japanese physician, chairman emeritus of St. Luke's International University in Tokyo, who lived an amazingly vibrant and active life right up until he passed away at the age of 105. He wasn't just living long. He was living well, still seeing patients well past the age of 100. What was his secret? Well, Dr. Hinohara believed strongly in purpose. Staying active, he famously took the stairs. And perhaps surprisingly, not getting bogged down by rigid rules, especially around things like meal times or strict bedtimes. His approach was all about moderation and joy, not deprivation. His own reported diet was quite simple. A small breakfast, often including coffee, milk, and orange juice with a tablespoon of olive oil, great for arteries and skin, he said. Sometimes just milk and biscuits for lunch if he was busy, and a modest dinner with vegetables, a bit of fish and rice, and lean meat only twice a week. But one of his most emphasized points, echoing what researchers observe in the blue zones, was the critical importance of maintaining a healthy weight throughout life. He famously said that long-lived people, regardless of nationality or race, share one thing: none are overweight. It's a simple observation, but a powerful one. And this leads to another gem of wisdom he embraced, a concept originating from Okinawa, another blue zone, Hara Hachibu. It literally translates to eat until you are 80% full. Why is this so effective? Well, it takes about 20 minutes for your stomach to signal to your brain that it's getting full. If you eat quickly until you feel stuffed, you've likely already overeaten. By consciously stopping when you feel almost full or just satisfied, you give your brain time to catch up. It prevents overeating, aids digestion, and naturally helps manage calorie intake without feeling deprived. How do you practice it? Try using slightly smaller plates. Eat more slowly, savoring each bite. Put your fork down between bites. And importantly, pause halfway through your meal and just check in with yourself. How hungry do you still feel? It's about mindful eating, tuning into your body's subtle cues rather than just eating until the plate is empty. It's such a simple, yet profoundly effective principle for long-term health and weight management. So, we've got the power foods, we've seen the importance of lifestyle context from Loma Linda, and now we have these fundamental pillars. Keeping ourselves hydrated and embracing wisdom like moderation and mindful eating from Dr. Hinohara and the Okinawans. We're building a really solid understanding here. But the big question remains, how we take all these amazing ingredients, the food knowledge, the lifestyle insights, the core principles, and actually weave them together into a practical pattern that works for our busy modern lives? Let's figure that out. Okay, deep breath. We've journeyed through the science, explored the amazing foods, glimpsed into blue zones, and gathered some timeless wisdom. That's a lot of fantastic information, right? But the million-dollar question is probably bouncing around in your head right now. How do we actually do this? How do we take all these puzzle pieces and fit them together into a picture that works for our real, busy, everyday lives? Let's get practical. First, remember this. It's about the synergy effect. It's not about obsessing over one single superfood or being absolutely perfect 100% of the time. Think of it like building a strong wall. Each brick, each healthy food group is important, but how they fit together day after day, creating the overall pattern or structure that truly gives it strength and resilience. Consistency beats short bursts of perfection every time. So, how do we visualize this pattern on our plate? Here's a simple guide. Think of it as your longevity plate blueprint. Aim to fill about half your plate with those colorful, non-starchy vegetables. Leafy greens, broccoli, bell peppers, you name it. Pile them high. Then, dedicate about a quarter of your plate to a source of clean, lean protein. Think fatty fish, beans, lentils, or tofu. And the remaining quarter, that's for your complex carbohydrates, your energy providers. Things like quinoa, brown rice, sweet potatoes, or a slice of whole grain bread. Don't forget to add a drizzle of healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, or maybe some avocado, or a sprinkle of nuts or seeds. This isn't a rigid rule, but it's a fantastic visual guide to help ensure you're getting that balance of nutrients, fiber, and goodness in most of your meals. Now, even with the best blueprint, sometimes we hit roadblocks. Let's talk about a few common pitfalls and how to gracefully sidestep them. First, the classic all-or-nothing trap. The Monday morning overhaul. You throw out everything bad, eat nothing but kale, and by Wednesday, you're face first in a bag of chips, feeling defeated. Sound familiar? Instead of a radical overhaul, think small, sustainable steps. Pick one thing this week. Maybe adding greens to lunch, or swapping white bread for whole wheat. Build momentum gradually. Another pitfall? Focusing only on diet. Remember our friends in Loma Linda? They weren't just eating well. They were also moving, connecting, resting. Trying to out-eat a lack of sleep, chronic stress, or a completely sedentary lifestyle is an uphill battle. Think of healthy eating as a star player, but needs its supporting cast. Then there are the hidden nasties. You're trying to eat healthy, but sneaky added sugars with dozens of different names. And excessive sodium can hide in seemingly innocent foods like sauces, dressings, yogurts, even bread. Become a bit of a label detective. It's eye-opening. And finally, a really important one, forgetting the joy factor. If your healthy eating plan feels like a punishment, like you're constantly white-knuckling it through bland meals you dislike, it's simply not going to stick long-term. Explore different recipes. Find fruits, vegetables, grains, and proteins you genuinely enjoy. Healthy eating should nourish your body and delight your taste buds. So, as you build your longevity plate, remember to weave in those crucial lifestyle threads we keep mentioning. Think of them as the essential backup singers to your dietary lead vocalist. Find ways to move your body that you actually like. Dancing, walking with a friend, gardening. Actively manage stress, maybe through mindfulness hobbies or spending time in nature. Prioritize sleep. Aim for that sweet spot of 7 to 9 hours. And nurture your social connections, making time for family and friends. It's this holistic combination that truly creates a symphony of a long, well-lived life. So, you got the blueprint for your plate, you're aware of the common pitfalls, and you understand the importance of weaving it all together with a supportive lifestyle. It feels more manageable now, right? But maybe, just maybe, as you start thinking about putting this into your specific life, A few practical what ifs? Or how about just starting to pop up? Let's tackle some of those head on. All right, putting all this into practice, building that longevity plate, weaving in those lifestyle habits. It sounds really promising, right? But maybe, just maybe, a few practical questions or concerns are bubbling up in your mind right now. That's totally normal. Let's tackle a few of the common ones I often hear. Just to clear the air a bit, first up, the big one. Does this mean I can never eat my favorite pizza / ice cream / birthday cake again? Okay, deep breath. Remember Dr. Heino Hara's wisdom about avoiding rigid rules and finding joy? This isn't about perfection or deprivation. It's about the overall pattern of your diet. Think maybe 80/20ths or 90/10s. Focusing on loading up on those longevity all-stars most of the time allows room for enjoying those special treats occasionally without derailing your progress. Life's meant to be enjoyed, and that includes celebratory foods. It's about balance, not banning. Then there's the question of supplements. Can I just take a multivitamin or some omega-3 pills instead? While supplements can have a place, the science consistently points to getting your nutrients from whole foods first. Remember that food synergy we talked about? Nutrients and food work together in complex ways that pills often can't replicate. Plus, whole foods give you fiber and other beneficial compounds supplements lack. Now, there are specific cases where supplementation might be necessary, like vitamin D for many people or vitamin B12 for those following a strict vegan diet. But this should always be discussed with your doctor or a registered dietitian who can assess your specific needs based on blood work and your diet. Please don't use supplements as a crutch or a substitute for eating well. What about the cost? Eating all these healthy foods sounds expensive. I hear you on this one, and it's a valid concern. But healthy eating doesn't have to break the bank. Think about those longevity staples. Beans and lentils are some of the cheapest, most nutrient-dense protein sources on the planet. Buying whole grains like oats or brown rice and nuts or seeds in bulk can save money. Don't overlook frozen fruits and vegetables. They are picked at peak ripeness and often just as nutritious, sometimes even more so, than fresh and usually much more affordable, especially out of season. Plus, cooking more meals at home using these whole ingredients is almost always cheaper and healthier than eating out or relying on pre-packaged convenience foods. It might just require a little shift in perspective and planning. And finally, a really important one. What if I have allergies or intolerances to some of these foods? This is a perfect example of why personalization is key and why that disclaimer about talking to your healthcare provider is so crucial. If you have a nut allergy, you obviously avoid nuts. If you have celiac disease, you avoid gluten-containing whole grains. The beauty of this approach is that there are so many beneficial foods on our all-star list. If you can't eat one group, focus on loading up on the others that you can tolerate safely. A registered dietitian can be incredibly helpful here in creating a balanced, longevity-focused plan that works around your specific needs and restrictions. It's about adapting the principles, not following a rigid one-size-fits-all plan. Okay, hopefully tackling those common questions helps clear the path a bit and makes this journey feel even more achievable. We've talked about the why, the what, the how, and addressed some potential hurdles. Ultimately, this journey toward a longer, healthier life isn't about chasing some elusive fountain of youth, but about making informed, empowered choices every single day. Wow! We have really covered some ground together on this journey, haven't we? From understanding the science behind how food impacts aging, to exploring those incredible longevity all-star foods, peeking into the lives of people in the blue zones like Loma Linda, and gathering wisdom from pioneers like Dr. Heino Hara. If there's one key message I hope you take away today, it's this: you hold significant power over your health and how well you age. While we can't change the genes we were dealt, we absolutely can influence how those genes play out through our daily choices. Focusing on a diet rich in whole, plant-forward foods, those greens, beans, nuts, berries, and healthy fats. Learning from a balanced, holistic lifestyles in the blue zones. These aren't complicated secrets, but simple, powerful truths. And remember, the goal isn't just about adding more years to your life, but adding more life to your years. It's about having the vitality, the mental clarity, and the physical strength to truly enjoy every stage. It's about feeling good, staying engaged, and showing up fully for the people and passions you love. That's what true longevity feels like. Now, I know absorbing all this information can feel like a lot, but you don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. The most powerful changes often start small. So, here's my challenge to you, my call to action. What is one small, achievable step you can commit to taking this week? Maybe it's adding a handful of spinach to your scrambled eggs tomorrow morning. Maybe it's swapping your usual white rice for brown rice at dinner. Perhaps it's packing a small handful of almonds for your afternoon snack instead of hitting the vending machine. Or maybe it's just consciously drinking an extra glass of water today. Whatever it is, pick one thing. Write it down, tell a friend, make it real. Because those small, consistent steps are what build incredible momentum over time. I would absolutely love to hear what first step you're choosing. Share it down in the comments below. Let's create a supportive community here and inspire each other. And if you found value in our time together today, if you learned something new or feel a little more empowered on your health journey, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find it. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on more science-backed tips for living your healthiest, happiest life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Remember, your health is your greatest asset. Be kind to yourself. Start small, stay consistent, and never underestimate the incredible power of those daily choices. Here's to your long, vibrant, and wonderfully healthy life. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Follow me for more tips, and don't forget to like and subscribe.